Everyone knows about gemstones. These are minerals, rocks or organic matter that have been cut, polished and then fashioned into a piece of jewelry. Basically, these gemstones were divided into two categories. There are precious and semi-precious stones. In 1800s, these gemstones were divided considering their value differentiation at that time. Today we are going to discuss about their hide a fascinating and mysterious story, their meaning in symbolism. We know every gemstone flash with color light. But do you know the fact that they come from the earth, links with divine energy as symbols of spiritual power or purity? Some peoples believe they have powers of healing and protection. Do you know that transparent stones are linked with divination? Red ones indicate ardor and vitality. Not only that, some stones are linked to birth months and some have their own associations. What are the precious stones? Their power. Only 4 gemstones, so-called precious stones. There are diamonds, rubies, emeralds and sapphires. Traditionally, these 4 precious stones have been the most expensive and sought-after stones. Diamonds. The most desired stone in the world, symbolic of purity, truth, and fidelity, the diamond is popular for engagement rings because it represents eternal love. Its radiance links it to the sun. Tantric Buddhists had a word, Vajra, which refers to both the thunderbolt and the diamond as symbols of enduring and powerful spiritual forces. Diamonds are also believed to absorb the wearer's emotions and cleanse the soul. It is also called the Stone of Reconciliation, according to legend. Wearing it would give strength and consolidate a commitment. Warriors in ancient Greece wore diamonds as the stones were thought to strengthen the warrior's muscles and bring them invincibility. Greek mythology and writings tell us that Greek gods wore and used diamonds in their most precious or strong accoutrements. Cronos' sword, Heracles' helmet, and Prometheus' sever-binding chains were all eternally strong because of their diamond composition. In medieval Europe, diamonds were referred to as tears of gods, and kept as amulets in battle. Such as a Tibetan philosophy of the diamond way, see the diamond as a symbol of human progress. It was the talisman of Julius Caesar, Louis IV and Napoleon. It is birthstone for the month of April. Ruby's gem symbolizes passionate love. Not only that, power of courage and vitality, because many cultures have long considered ruby a stone of kings. It has been linked with Saturn and Mars, the planet of passions. Royalty wore rubies as they were thought to temporarily darken when danger approached. In ancient times it was believed that the ruby had supernatural powers and that wearing it guaranteed victory, love and happiness. When worn as a talisman, ruby's mystical properties extended to personal protection. People believed wearing the stone on the left, the heart side, would allow the bearers to live peacefully. None could take their land or rank. The blood-colored stone would preserve them from all perils, even their homes from storms. The ancient Burmese prized the ruby as the stone of soldiers. They believed it bestowed invulnerability. However, wearing it on the left wasn't enough. Only those who had rubies physically inserted into their flesh would gain this benefit. They believed they were safe from wounds from spears, swords, or guns. According to Vedic astrology, ruby represents the navel chakra in your body. It is birthstone for the month of July. Emerald represents fertility, harmony, immortality, spring, and youth. The Egyptians buried an emerald with their dead to represent eternal youth. It is Christian symbol of faith. Emeralds also feature in folklore as a healing stone. The Egyptians also believed power of emerald. They buried an emerald with their dead to represent eternal youth. Reportedly, Cleopatra adorned herself and her palace with emeralds and also gave them as gifts to foreign dignitaries. She believed that it was the only stone to be worthy of its beauty. Nero, emperor of Rome, used an emerald to watch the gladiator games. In ancient times it was believed that it was a useful tool to predict the future. People believed emeralds could confer riches, power, and eloquence if worn as talismans. In past eras, Arab, Hindu, and Spanish physicians used emeralds against poison, infection, and dysentery. Many people believed the gemstone could also protect against possession by demons. It would strengthen the nerves and reduce irritation, but does the emerald bring bad luck? According to the legend, only if to wear it is a hypocritical person, this stone would not tolerate it. Emerald also serves as the May birthstone. The September birthstone sapphires are a symbol of celestial harmony, peace, chastity, and truth. It is most spiritual stone of all. People have long connected celestial blue sapphires with the planet Venus. In Hindu tradition they were associated with Saturn and self-control. In some quarters they were thought to ward off evil. According to the Bible, the celestial throne would be just this stone. And, not at home, the ancient Persians were convinced that the blue of the sky was nothing but a giant sapphire on which the earth stood. Stone of wisdom, power and loyalty. In the ancient Greece and ancient Rome, sapphires can be seen worn on the queens and kings of the time. During this era, the sapphire gemstone was said to warn off evil and harm, making it a must-have staple in any royalty attire. Middle Ages it was called the bishop's stone because of its alleged ability to elevate the human spirit. Since medieval times, sapphire has been associated with the majesty and tranquility of the heavens. Because they believed it symbolized heaven, clergy in the Middle Ages wore blue sapphires. Supposedly, sapphire taps the power of the third eye and makes clear oracular pronouncements otherwise too difficult to hear or understand. In times past, the belief that sapphires offered an antidote to poison was quite popular. Supposedly, the stone increased the wearer's overall strength and health, thus warding off illnesses and nullifying poisons. Many believed sapphires aided healing. Now we are going to discuss about some semi-precious stones. Every other gemstone is called semi-precious stones except above 4 gemstones. The list goes on and on, but some of the more common ones are topaz, agate, amethyst, aquamarine, garnet. Reputed to be an empathetic stone, topaz symbolizes faithfulness, divine goodness, friendship, forgiveness, and love. Someone believes, if it worn on the left arm, topaz amulet could protect the wearer from dark magic. In Hindu traditions, topaz is associated astrologically with Jupiter. If kept in the home, some believed a topaz could ward off accidents and fires. If kept under a pillow, it could prevent nightmares. Medicinally, topaz was traditionally thought to banish nervous exhaustion and stimulate the appetite. This could relieve arthritis pain, improve digestion, aid in weight loss, and attract love. Orange topaz, also known as precious topaz, is the conventional birthstone for November, the symbol of friendship. Some are named blue topaz is a birthstone for December. Regarded as a healing stone, bloodstone revitalizes relationships and purifies. Bloodstone comes entangled in fascinating history. The ancient Greeks held the bloodstone as a gem with glorious powers for overcoming obstacles and giving courage. It can also be used as an amulet for courage and protection and a talisman for those who need a little extra help in rooting down their lower chakras. It was believed to have heavenly healing powers gifted by the gods, and most certainly when it came to healing all things related to the blood. It was used to combat blood disorders and stop bleeding. It was believed to be formed from Christ's blood. It was said that during the crucifixion, a few red spots of his blood dripped onto the earth and turned as hard as stone. It is the one of the modern birthstones of March. Ancient cultures believed that agate rendered the wearer invisible. It represents courage, longevity, and prosperity in the past. Agate stones were tied to oxen horns to promote a good harvest. Ancient Greek were said to ward off all kinds of evil, to heal scorpion stings and snake bites, to calm raging storms, and to bring victory in times of war. In ancient Greece the stone was used to fight depression. It was the stone they turned to when unwanted dark or negative thoughts crept into their head. Roman gladiators would use the lion agate as a talisman for courage. From Islam to the Egyptians, the world turned to the healing and protective properties of agate. Persian magicians would use these stones to control the thunder and lightning that danced across the sky. In Chinese medicine, agate was used to stir up one's own qi. Even now, in our modern world, agate has not lost its sense of power. Today we turn to these stones to help us ease our anxieties and to keep our emotions beautifully balanced so we can flourish in all our earthly wonder. It is the zodiac gemstone of Gemini and also the Russian, Polish and Arabic birthstone of June. To the Chinese, jade is the stone of heaven and represents purity. A solar and yang emblem, it also symbolizes justice, courage, harmony, and moral purity. It is believed to bring luck. Smooth jade also has sexual connotations. Throughout human history, people have worked both jadeite and nephrite materials. The Chinese, Maori, and Mesoamerican cultures, in particular, prized jade and excelled at creating amazing pieces from it. When the Spaniards arrived in Mexico, the Aztecs valued jade many times more than its weight in gold. Artisans have created chimes, xylophones, and gongs from melodically resonant jade. They're not only meant for pleasant listening. Some also use these instruments to produce heavenly tones for ritual practices. Chinese poets have compared jade's melodious sound to the voice of a loved one. They've called jade the concentrated essence of love. Ancient cultures would whisper that jade was a dream stone. It's highly renowned for its metaphysical magic and is often used as a tool in emotional healing, dream work, and connecting with higher realms. Opals have traditionally symbolized hope, purity, divine insight, religious devotion, and fidelity. And truth. The Romans thought that opals fell from heaven in a flash of lightning. Some cultures called the opal the eye stone, believing it watched over royalty. It is traditional October birthstone but later tourmaline replaced to opal. However, in ancient times, people wore this stone for various reasons. Many considered opal to be beneficial to the eye and wore it to cure eye diseases. Some even believed it could render the carrier invisible. Supposedly, carrying an opal wrapped in a fresh bay leaf would keep others from seeing you. Some believe the darkness and depth of the black opal can hold and release power for magicians in their arcane workings. Of course, whether they use this power for good or bad is up to their discretion and has no bearing on the stone itself. The February birthstone, amethyst, has many popular symbolic and folkloric associations, both ancient and modern, from love and spirituality to supernatural protection. Amethyst rings are worn by bishops in the Christian Church. It is also thought to give peace of mind and protect the wearer against drunkenness. A myth about Bacchus, the Roman god of wine, has promoted this belief. Some believed the colors alluded to the wounds and suffering of Christ. Thus, amethysts were used to aid the healing of wounds. Many cultures find spiritual overtones in amethysts. Often viewed as a stone of peace, some believe amethyst's calming presence produces soothing dreams by bringing the dreamer more in tune with the divine. Amethysts are said to help the mind flow freely in both mental and metaphysical dimensions. The ancient Egyptians worked amethysts into amulets as both a form of prayer and protection against harm.